What it do? What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy. And return it back again with another video. Today is gonna be something a little bit different, right? But I think I want to start doing it more often on the channel. Today I want to talk about something a little bit more philosophical. And I'm cleaning the bathroom right now, so I figured while I'm cleaning the bathroom I could talk about this topic, just because me doing one thing like cleaning will help my brain kind of work out some of the ideas and thoughts that I have and present to you guys. But I had this question today. What does a human being look like that hasn't had any choices forced on them? And what I mean by that is that growing up, there are a lot of choices that we believe that we make because of our own volition. So out of our own mind frame and thoughts and just how we are as a person. But I believe that a lot of our choices are actually made and built off of society. Where you grow up, what you see, who you're influenced by, who you admire, whether you grow up in a single parent home with just your father or your mother, or that you grow up in a two-parent home. Does your father beat your mother? Does that cause you to grow up and become somebody that works out because now you want to make sure that you can defend your mother psychologically in your brain? Does your mom abuse you? Does that make you grow up and become a womanizer because you feel like that's where your power lies? And getting women, because getting women to be submissive would be so different from how you grew up, in which a woman was dominant over your life. Do you grow up in a two-parent household where they are getting divorced and they split up? Does that cause you to make sure that you either want to have a relationship where you guys don't split up at all? Or does that mean that divorce becomes a better option? Do you grow up in a single parent household, and does that make you more feminine or masculine? So do you grow up with just your mother, and does that make you a bit more feminine? Or do you grow up with your father and that makes you a bit more masculine? Now, if you grow up feminine, or if you grow up masculine and you go to school, are the kids teasing you because you're too feminine, or are the kids teasing you because you're too masculine? Does that make you choose to become more feminine or more masculine, or less feminine or more masculine? Do you become hyper masculine or hyper feminine? How does that all tie in? Like, how does that work? What does the human society look like when no choices are forced upon us? What would it look like if when you were born, nobody picked out a favorite color for you? Nobody said that because you're a boy, you have to like blue, and because you're a girl, you have to like pink. What if nobody said that this shirt is for boys and that a dress is for girls? What if nobody picked anything for you? The school that you went to, the environment. What if everything was virtually the same? Virtually. What would that look like? What would the human experience look like? Would every human turn out the same still? Would we start to become autonomous, like robots? Or would our personalities still shine through? So I guess this brings up a bigger question of what are personalities? What exactly are our personalities? Are our personalities actually us? Or are they the influences of the things around us, right? And that brings up an even better topic, because oftentimes we pass a lot of things off as, this is just who I am. I am this way because this is just who I am. But who are you really? You know, are you really you? Or are you a culmination of who you admire, of the people that you've looked up to, or of the people that you've detested? Or are you a culmination of both, you know? Who are you really? And when you start to question who you actually are, and what makes you tick, and who you've built yourself up to be, then you no longer will give yourself an excuse as to what kind of person you can become, right? Because oftentimes we're like, well, this is who I am. I won't be able to do this, this, and this because of who I am. This is my foundation. I wouldn't be somebody, for example, I have a lot of anger issues, right? And oftentimes I find myself saying, I could never see myself getting rid of my anger. It's just who I am. My anger has been there for me in times when I had nothing else. My anger is what saved me in times. It's what made me stand up for myself when everybody else was just trying to bring me down. So I can't see myself without my anger. But who am I really? Am I really my anger? Is that who I am? Was I supposed to be an angry person? Or was it because I was abused growing up? Was it because I was heavily bullied growing up and I felt like anger was the best way to defend myself? Who am I really? And once I ask myself those hard questions, then not giving myself the excuse of, oh, I'm just this, so I can't do that, becomes a lot easier. And then I'm able to change and update. Because I'm not just a culmination of like my experiences in the past. And I'm not just my personality either. In fact, I'm probably a good mix of both. But I wonder what society would look like if everybody just had the same shit. Money, environment, household structure, people around them. Just virtually everybody had the same life. What would that look like? It's such a toss-up, right? Everything's so random. That's why no two humans are alike. As much as we all do similar things, it's all for very, slightly different reasons. Because we all have very slightly different lives. Very slight. We find, good point. The reason why social media is so popular, and memes especially, are because memes, you ever seen like Venn diagram where you have two circles? A lot of us have these very contrasting polar ideologies that exist in those two circles. But the place in which those circles actually come together, that middle ground right there in the middle, that's a meme. That's a viral status. That's a song. That's something that everybody can relate to. And that's why people share it. That's why everybody gets into it and puts it out and goes, oh, this is so fire. I hope that everybody else agrees too. Because we're all so different, we look for the silver lining in which we're all the same. And this goes into why we often get mad at people that aren't like us, right? Because it goes against the innate desire to want everybody to be the same. To want everybody to be the, because it's easy when everybody's the same, right? That's why you have cells in your body, right? A cancer cell is just a cell that doesn't behave like everything else. And so the body reacts negatively to it, they all clump together and it causes cancer and then you can die from them. So there's something even at the cellular level that wants to be the same. And that's very, very interesting, right? Because if it wasn't meant to be that way, why is it? Why does everything aspire to be synonymous? Why does everything aspire to be together? What is it about togetherness that goes against divisiveness? But why does divisiveness come from togetherness? Why is it that because people want to be together, that they divide each other? Isn't that such a weird concept, right? Because everybody wants to be together, they divide amongst themselves. And that's such a strange concept, right? And I'm sure it goes the opposite way, If people want to be apart, then they clump together in cliques and clubs and groups, things of that sort. So it's really interesting how one breeds the other, And I guess the big part about this whole conversation is that when you look around at people and you begin to judge them for their lifestyle, and I'm not talking about the average lifestyle, like the in the box, everybody's just, doing it. I'm talking about people that are sadomasochists, people that enjoy BDSM, people that are gay, people that are transsexual, transgender, people that are non-binary, don't conform to all these people, and you look at them and you can't understand them. I implore you to ask yourself, who are you really? Are you yourself? Or are you what you thought everybody else wanted you to be? I'm going to ask that one more time. Are you yourself? Or are you who you thought everybody else wanted you to be? Are you who you thought you needed to be? When you ask yourself those questions, and you figure out the answer, come back to me and let me know. Because ultimately, it will drastically change how you begin to look at everybody else. Because you can't be mad at people for choosing to be who they want to be, regardless of what their influences were. Because does it really matter? I think it matters up to a certain point. I think when it comes down to judging someone, it matters. And then past that, it doesn't really matter anymore. Because at the end of the day, you get to choose who you want to be and why you want to be that, for whatever reason. But does that give you the right that because you chose to live a lifestyle that's accepted by everybody, and you get to judge those who didn't. And I mean that from the fucking rapists to the murderers, to the drug dealers, to the scammers, to all these people that we often judge as bad people and deem them off into a certain place of society in which we say that they don't deserve to like have freedom or live a certain kind of life. I wonder about that. I wonder what the human society looks like when we allow everybody to be themselves. I wonder if that's even possible. If we had a bunch of killers running around, rapists, murderers, drug dealers, which we already do, but they're just in hiding. But if we did have them just running around, not in jail, what does life look like? Would that force us to maybe come up with some rules that allows them to live in society in which they can be the most themselves without killing off the rest of the human race? Or would we just be defending ourselves against them in a certain kind of way? Would we give them their own place to live? Do we say, okay, all murderers can live in this area. All rapists can live in this area. If you guys want to rape, go ahead, just rape each other all day, all day. If that's what y'all want to do. And maybe rapists don't like to be raped. Maybe murderers don't like to be murdered. And when you put them all in the same place, that they'll be able to go, okay, I don't like to be raped or murdered, so maybe I'll stop raping and murdering. And maybe that's what jail is. Maybe that's what jail is. But jail's a bit different because they're all together. They're not in their own separate places. It's not like rapists go to their own jail and murderers go to their own jail. And I'm talking about them living their regular day-to-day life. They still have the same freedoms as everybody else. The freedom to marry, freedom to love, freedom to pay taxes, all that good stuff. They're just rapists. And you know, as a human, do not go over to rapist land because that's where you will get raped. Do not pass the boundary because that's where they rape and everything is free game. I wonder if after maybe 50 to 100 years, rape would stop. I wonder if they would go, well, I don't like being raped, but I do rape. So maybe I should just stop if I don't like it done to me. And I wonder how that would work. Interesting concepts, right? But concepts that I believe do need to be asked and questioned and thought about. Because nobody really thinks about this shit. Or if people do, they really talk about it in this fashion. So I'm going to talk about it here. Yeah, I think I'll cut it there. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. If you guys have any thoughts that came out of this, anything that triggered you or anything that really spoke to you in this, comment it down below. And I'll do more videos like this where I'm just kind of questioning the status quo and asking these philosophical questions against society because I feel like they're really interesting. And I feel like people do think about them, but they feel like nobody will ever entertain them or think about them on that level, so they just don't really go too far with it. But I am. Another challenge has been complete. Push past those boundaries in your mind. Ask yourself those hard questions and be honest with yourself. Don't lie. Because lying ain't gonna get you to the question that you want, or the answer to the question that you want. Alright, y'all. Peace.